G'day, welcome back to the channel and some more drone news from the interwebs, from everywhere. And today you won't believe what I have to tell you. Now, there's a bit of intro here, a bit of a lead up. Now, we know that drone regulations are changing around the world and they're being created by people who really just don't seem to have a clue. They say, oh, these are risk-based regulations, but they're not. They're anything but risk-based because, as I keep telling and everyone else keeps saying, no one has ever been killed through the recreational use of a multi-rotor drone. So the risk is very, very small, tiny, infinitesimal. We haven't had a death yet as a result of recreational use of multi-rotor drones. So from that perspective, why do we have this heavy-handed regulation? It's huge. Here in New Zealand, last week someone died on a Lime scooter. But you can still ride Lime scooters everywhere. You don't need a license. You don't need to have it registered. You don't even need a helmet, I don't think, to ride a Lime scooter. And they've killed people all over the world, these little electric scooters, people dying all the time, but no, we don't need to regulate those. They're quite safe. They're fine, they're fine. But drones, my God, Phantom 4s, woo, So when they tell us that the regulations are there because of the risk, they are telling lies. They are lying because the records prove it. The last 10 years have proven that the risks are really low. Yet we're constantly being told it's so risky we must introduce registration and restriction after restriction and age limits and all this sort of stuff. No, we are being lied to. We're being totally lied to, and I'm not happy with that. So, and if you want to know where this is coming from, something really interesting happened in the UK this week. Now, video on the Drone and Sundry YouTube channel. Go and have a look at it. Link in the description. Always put a link in the description. This is a video of, who is it? It's Mr. Andy Sage, and he's the head of Unmanned Traffic Management at the National Air Traffic Organisation, I suppose, NATS they call it, National Air Traffic Service, I suppose. And he said that all drone operators are one or more of three things. They're either clueless, careless, or criminal. Yeah, that's what. Go look at the video. Go and look at the. I could not believe this when I heard this man uttering this bovine excrement. Let's keep it monetized. He basically slandered. He defamed every drone. Most drone users, because some of them are. Let's face it. Some people are clueless, careless, and/or criminal when they fly their drones. But the vast majority, as proven by the outstanding track record of safety, are not. He defamed these people. Fortunately, I suppose he's speaking under parliamentary privilege where you can say what you like and you can't be sued for defamation. Otherwise, I'd suggest the whole community takes a class action suit and sues the snot off this man because he obviously has a huge prejudice, a huge bias against drones, yet he's part of the mechanism by which regulations are being made. So how can you have someone who's so not impartial, who's so biased, who's so partisan, involved in the regulatory process at any stage, even as a consultant? Absolutely not. So yeah, this is the problem we face as a community. We are being vilified at all levels. We've got the Daily Mail and the tabloid TV all saying drones are dangerous, it's only a matter of time before people die. We've got airline pilots saying, oh, I saw a drone 3,000 miles away and it was a Phantom 4 on the serial number. I couldn't get the last digit because it was, 4,000 miles is just too far to see. We've got this sort of crap going on every single day, and every single day we're told it's only a matter of time, and every single day no one else dies, or nobody at all dies. So the facts do not gel with the storyline that we're being fed. The storyline that is being fed to us as a justification for registration and restriction after restriction and age limits and all sorts of things which are just totally unreasonable. Since this guy was caught out by Drone and Sundry and this was publicised, he's apologised. Oh no, he didn't really mean to say that. Again, I'll put a link to a story running on the Drone and Sundry website where you can see his apology. Now, not for 1 second do I believe an apology like that. If you didn't mean this, you wouldn't have said it, would you, Andy? And people don't say things they don't mean. And you go back, apologise, oh, I didn't mean it. Well, why the hell did you say it if you didn't mean it? No, you were caught with your trousers down. You were shown to be the partisan, biased, anti-drone bigot that you are. And you shouldn't be anywhere near this whole process because you are not going to provide fair, reasonable, just, and safe regulation. You are not the right man for the job. Okay, that's my opinion. I'm not an opinion, it's YouTube. Mind you, if you have the wrong opinions, YouTube shuts your channel down. So hopefully they agree with me. So yeah, this is crazy. And to show you how far this has gone, CAA, the regulatory body, and there's one in New Zealand, there's one in the UK, both of these organisations have been, I wouldn't say they're fantastic, but they've been doing their best, and they haven't come up with too bad. I mean, in New Zealand, we've got shielded operations. We lead the world with shielded operations. We can fly right up to the boundary of an airport as long as we stay below the tree line, and there's something to stop our drones from drifting onto the runway. Yeah, fantastic. It makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, the USA doesn't have that. They haven't got a clue in the USA what they do in that respect. You know, you could have a 107 to do this and all this other stuff. No, and in the USA, the regulations are getting tougher and tougher by the day. The Section 336, that's long gone. You don't have the exemption. So the FAA is stomping on everyone's rights. The FAA is obviously firmly under the thumb of the politicians. Politicians say, do this, FAA does it. Safety, what's that? But in New Zealand and the UK, the CAA organisation in both countries, which is the government-appointed regulator for the airspace, they have been pressured by politicians. Remember, politicians get their view of the world from the news, like most of the public do. They've been told these drones are dangerous. They've been told it's only a matter of time before people die in airliners. You know, they've been told that these things are spying on you as you undress before you get into bed. And they're so dim-witted, a lot of these politicians. They believe it. They really do. They believe it. So they're going to CAA and saying, we must register drones for a start. Oh, we have to register them because everybody else is doing it. And here in New Zealand, the CAA said, nope. There's no point in registering because there's some very smart people in our CAA. Not everybody in CAA is smart. Not everybody is a sharp knife, but there are some really sharp knives. And the sharp knives in our CAA said, no, registration serves no purpose except to impose an unreasonable burden on law-abiding drone users. For example, registration has been in place in other countries for some time, and it has never, ever been proven to prevent bad actors from doing bad things. Secondly, registration has never solved any incidents, never enabled authorities to find people. Gatwick, would registration have helped there? No. The drones are more often, in fact, almost invariably, drones are never recovered. You know, all these incidents, the airliner sees a drone at 75,000 feet. The drone's never recovered. How would registration help that? It wouldn't. It wouldn't. So the CAA in New Zealand were very smart, very clever. They said, no, we're not going to impose an unreasonable burden on the legitimate drone operators by making them register when it serves no purpose. Can you imagine how the politicians reacted to that? Yes. How dare you not do what we say, I think was probably their response. There's probably a big meeting and coffee was thrown about and biscuits were crumbled amongst the political circles, and they said, this is terrible. This is terrible. These people that know all about aviation safety and security, the people we have put in place to produce regulations to protect the public safety, they won't do what we say. What are we going to do? And as politicians do, they threw their toys out of the pram and said, well, we'll give this responsibility to another department, a department that we can trust to do what we say. And that's what they've done in New Zealand. They've taken the drone regulation issue and taken it out of the hands of CAA and given it to the Department of Transport. That's another government agency. That agency, the Department of Transport, has been set up to basically regulate land transport, really. Land transport. They are the people that, you know, cars and trucks and motorcycles, that's their job. They make sure that all happens safely. Not airplanes. They don't have, that's why we have the CAA to deal with aircraft, things that fly. Department of Transport has been traditionally for land-based vehicles and transport. But no, Department of Transport is far more malleable. They are more easily controlled by the politicians. So the politicians, if we can't get what we want from you, CAA, we're going to make this department deal with it. And we can tell them what to do. And they will listen and they will follow our diktats. And we'll get the registration and the restrictions and the age limits and all that sort of stuff that all the other countries have and that are working so damn well for them. And in the UK, the same thing seems to have happened. CAA in the UK has had a very good relationship with the traditional hobby. We've had organisations like FPV UK, the BMFA, they've all worked very closely with CAA, who have recognised their exemplary track record of safety over many years and thus granted them special permissions, such as the ability to fly in some cases above 400 feet and to fly perhaps closer to airports where they have clubs organised, that sort of thing. So yeah, they have received some special permissions in response to their track record of safety and the trustworthiness of these organisations. Then the UK comes along, the politicians they wade in and say, we can't have this. My God, look at Gatwick. You know, there were thousands of drones and millions of people were inconvenienced. It cost everyone a lot of money. And yeah, there were no pictures of the drones. No one actually saw a drone, but it's just only a matter of time. So what happens then is they said, well, CAA, you're not dealing with this properly. You know, you're too friendly with these model flying people. they're probably half the trouble. We're going to take the problem from you and give it to the Department for Transport, which is the same thing. The UK has done what New Zealand, both countries have moved in unison to take the regulation of drones pretty much out of the hands of the aviation regulator and give it to another department. Why would you do that? If regulations were based on safety and risk, you would leave it in the hands of the experts, the people who have been dealing with aviation safety and risk for decades. You wouldn't give it to the people who are responsible for making sure that Granny doesn't fall off her moped. No. So we have so many agendas in this whole drone thing. We've got the Amazons and the DHLs all wanting drone delivery, and the Googles wanting drone delivery. We want this airspace for ourselves. In fact, I put a link to a story that I found online. Someone sent me a link to it actually. They're saying the airspace over the 0 to 400 feet over Canberra belongs to Google. Already it belongs to Google. Go and read the story, link in the description. It shows you it's been accepted as a fait accompli. Google has this airspace now. Keep out of it, you plebs, you mere members of the public who pay your taxes and haven't killed anybody. Let Google use this airspace. And this is what's happening. So we've got commercial pressures. And I wonder, I call me a cynic, but I just call myself old and well-versed in the ways of the world. I wonder how many of these politicians that are currently pushing for registration and restriction and kill the hobby, I wonder how many of them, when they leave their political careers, will find themselves appointed as honorary members of boards at companies that want this airspace. Will we see a lot of honorary board members in Google, that previously politicians that rallied for restrictions on recreational use of drones? I don't know, but it's always worth keeping an eye on that, yeah? It's happened before with other areas where politicians have been influenced to make certain decisions and been rewarded in their post-political lives. It's not an uncommon thing. So is it happening now? I'm not going to suggest that, of course. I was just saying it's happened before in other things. But we really need to keep an eye on these politicians who know nothing, and basically if they can't get their way with the people who do know something, they give it to someone else who knows nothing and is easily controlled. Ridiculous. Absolutely crazy. That's where we're headed, right? So yeah, this guy, Andy Sage, he has said these horrible things and then he has apologised. So go and have a look at the apology, but don't believe a word of his apology. If he really didn't mean to say it, he wouldn't have said it. I mean, people at that level, they don't say things they don't mean. They only apologise. He's not apologising for saying that. He's apologising, I'm sorry I got caught. That's what they do. Anyway, moving on. And g'day to all my Canadian friends from Canada. Yes, you've had a big shake-up in your regulations now, enforced new regulations, all sorts of restrictions and age limits and don't get me started. Go sub 250. Canadians, go sub 250. That's what I say. There'll be a lot more sub 250 stuff coming up on this channel and on my RC Model Reviews channel because it's the future of the hobby. It's the only thing we'll have left very shortly. But in Canada, if you want to fly something over 250 grams, you've got to have a little test and pay money and also register and that sort of thing. So I was really surprised. I saw this and then someone sent me a link anyway. And Alan Yu picked up on it in his vlog. Link to Alan's vlog in the description. I like to promote other channels where I think it's worth you going to have a look at them. Link to Alan's vlog. Someone in Canada was flying a Mavic over a crowd of people. Honestly, seriously, that's a huge breach of the regulations, right? And apparently he was interacted with some policemen and you'd think, oh man, with these new rules, he's gonna go for a skate, isn't he? No prosecution. The Transport Canada said there wasn't enough evidence, even though there's a video of the guy with his broken Mavic on the ground and apparently he'd posted footage from it flying over the oh no. So we have this ridiculous situation where we're making incredibly restrictive regulations and rules on the basis of safety, but when people break the rules, they're not enforced. So how the hell does that work? It's like buying yourself a really big, powerful gun, but not having any bullets in case someone gets hurt. Oh no. As I say, this whole thing is being controlled by idiots who know nothing about what they're doing. And here's further proof of that. Why would you make really comprehensive, restrictive rules and not enforce them? You might as well not have it. Rules without enforcement mean nothing. Let's face it, if you could speed on the open highway without any risk of getting a speeding ticket, you would, wouldn't you? I mean, people do, even though they do risk getting a ticket, but if there was no one policing the road rules to say you can't travel more than 50 miles an hour in this area, people would travel faster. That's what they do. It's human nature. So you've got to have enforcement or your rules are just paper and they're worth nothing. So Canada, big black mark for you, because now other people will see this and go, whoa, that guy flew over a crowd. He didn't get prosecuted. I'm going to do the same thing. And then someone will get hurt. And it won't be the drone operator's fault. It'll be Transport Canada's fault, because they're not backing up their rules with enforcement. And finally, from the Beyond Visual Line of Sight department, NASA are sending a drone to Titan. Yes, that's really beyond visual line of sight. In fact, I think they better do some homework first. They could fall foul of Titan's drone regulations. I mean, we don't know. There could be life on that planet. They may have regulations regarding drones. They may also realize that these things are just lethal. It's only a matter of time before a drone from NASA kills some poor Titan resident. Yeah, but no, they're sending a drone to Titan. It's cool stuff. We're not allowed to fly drones in many, many places now around the world, but NASA can fly them on Titan. How's that, eh? Brilliant. In fact, maybe we should all go to Titan and fly our drones there. Probably the only place that'll be left soon. I wonder how much the NASA drone weighs. Maybe it's under 250 grams. Maybe they don't have to worry about it. Anyway, so yeah, go and have a look. Link in the description. Interesting stuff if you're into that sort of thing, because I know they were sending a drone to Mars. They want to send a drone to Mars as well, and they did some computer simulations and things. It all looks good. So which drone will get there first? Will we have a drone on Titan first or a drone on Mars? And I wonder what happens. This is interesting, isn't it? If the drone on Titan flies beyond range, will it return to home, bring it all the way back to Earth? I don't think so. No. So no point in having a return to home function, is there? There you go. And if it was made in China, it'll fly back to Shenzhen and they'll sell it again. Right, that's it. No, something else I just thought of, not on my list. DJI. DJI, the world's most popular recreational drone manufacturer, are going to start assembling some stuff in the USA, because Mr. Trump has said, the government has said you can't use DJI drones because they're too dangerous, too risky, because all this information could go back to China and Huawei could use it, or someone could use it. So what they've said now is, DJI have said, well, we'll build them in the USA and we'll give you a guarantee so you see that the data will never leave the drone. It won't go into the cloud on our servers. It'll stay where it is. So they're really, really trying to get back a lot of business they lost when the US government decided, no, you can't use DJI drones on sensitive projects. So we'll see what happens there. And of course, Mr. Trump's trade tariffs are causing a lot of other companies to look at moving their operations out of China. I think it's, who is it? Apple thinking of moving to Taiwan to do some manufacturing. But if you ask China, Taiwan's part of China anyway. But if you ask the USA, no, it's not. Oh, it's just so world politics. I wish politicians would just stay home and eat their sandwiches instead of meddling in the affairs of the public, including drones. There you go. That's it. More news. That's the news for today, for this week probably. And I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, comments to the commenty bit down here, which YouTube provides. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. But do put a comment as well saying why you didn't like it. Don't you like my shirt? Is it the cut of my jib? Do I speak with a funny accent? Tell me why you don't like the video. Next one will be better, won't it? There you go. Thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, more stuff coming up pretty soon. But it's a fine day. I've got to get out and do some flying. Yes, please. See you later. Oh, thanks to my Patreon supporters. Can't forget to thank my Patreon supporters. And there are support links in the description of this video. If you want to support the channel, there is an affiliate link which takes you to Banggood. And once you've clicked on that link, you can go and buy stuff anywhere in Banggood, and I get a tiny, tiny little amount of commission. Tiny, it is tiny. And I use that to buy stuff to review and for projects and so forth, so that you all benefit when you buy. It's like getting a discount, really, isn't it? But it's not. It's not like a discount. And there was something else. What was it? I've forgotten. Oh, yeah. Let me run this by you, please. If you're still here. If you're still here, I give you a big congratulations for your tenacity and just your staying power. You've seen, what is it, NordVPN? You've seen all the people. This video was brought to you by NordVPN. And if you go to NordVPN and sign up with this code, you'll get the first 3 months free. Whatever it is, you've seen it. Everyone's doing it. They contacted me and said, hey, would you like to do that? And on my RC Model Reviews channel, I said no. Because RC Model Reviews never will be sponsored. But what about this channel? What about XJet, which is really, it's more opinion than fact. Many times. So does it matter? Should I turn off the ads in some videos and just have a little bit where I just say NordVPN? Yesterday I couldn't spell it, today I'm using it. Something like that, just basically give them a little plug. I don't know, you have to give them 30 seconds or a minute or something. Anyway, would you rather sit through that with my embellishments and try and make it entertaining, or would you rather have the YouTube ads that come up at the beginning? And every week there's more of them. You gotta skip. I'd really love to move away from YouTube ads. And with the help of my Patreon supporters and maybe some sponsors on this channel anyway, I hope to do just that. There you go. I've rambled on. Anyway, gotta go. Time to fly. Bye for now.